हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू another episode in Talk with Rish. So आज के मेहमान हमारे बहुत खास हैं. He is an architect, an interaction designer, a really great design thinker, and one of my friend Deeptam Das. So बिना किसी देरी के let's just start the podcast. How are you, Deeptam?
Thank you for this lovely introduction. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. And yeah, very excited to talk to you about whatever you have in mind. Yeah.
Actually, it's not like I have so many thoughts. As my audience also know, that it's more like a conversation. So can you please tell me about your journey till now?
Mhm. Like when I look back into what got me here, like the 5-6 years of my life after bachelor's. So I started off with architecture because, like, coming from Jamshedpur, I think being grown up in a planned city actually helped me to like choose architecture as my core field. Following which, I always dreamt of NID as something that I always wanted to pursue. Be it bachelor's, be it master's. I applied for NID during my bachelor times like twice.
Oh,
So like in
Okay.
2018, I got through the first round. Second
Okay.
round, I went for the studio test, didn't qualify. Again, during architecture, I started off with my architecture. In second year, I tried for NID, didn't happen again. So after 5 years of architecture, I absolutely loved the journey in architecture as well. But yeah, after 5 years, I again applied for NID, and yeah, fortunately, I'm here sitting with you right now. So it panned out really well. Yeah.
Okay, so as you told that you already have two teams, you are so much enthusiast about NID thing. What actually inspired you to come to interaction design from an architecture background?
Right. So I would say during architecture, so I did my graduation project. It's a very interesting story. A graduation project that dealt with transgender communities of Delhi.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, in Mehrauli, I dealt with transgender communities, and as part of the graduation project, I also led a team of like 5-6 students and collaborated with the NGOs. The team was called Pehchan, and we worked with the transgender community in like Delhi University Humanities Department and Bangalore Rangashankara Theatres. And there it was sure, like it was a very important moment in my life, I would say, that triggered the change, the transition that followed.
Okay.
So what happened during one of these events that we conducted, it was like a traveling exhibition that we conducted at various places. Here we came to know the potential of design that extends beyond just architecture, because in architecture it's a beautiful field, but like the stakeholders are very localized. There's a building, only few people can access it at a point of time. So yeah, the impact of it, if I may, it's very localized, wherein I found it during exhibitions or traveling exhibitions, websites, applications, the impact is very profound. And it's not localized, it's worldwide, it's nationwide. So that was the point when I thought, yeah, interaction design or information design or something like that would actually ease my way into transitioning into the field of design post architecture.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a story behind my transition from architecture to interaction design. Yeah.
That's really nice. That's really amazing, actually. Like how a person who is just a bachelor or just pass out from 12th and he take decision about their masters in a very early age. It's really appreciable.
Yeah.
So, about your journey, I really want to know for my audience that what exactly the project is about, if you really want to tell.
Regarding the transgender thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, the project is like, it was part of a fellowship grant that we won. It was called the Observation and Network Fellowship, wherein we had to like take up any problem, any like socio-cultural, economical or environmental problem that we had in our surroundings, take up that as a challenge and propose a solution that's executionable. That's like, it could be executed.
Okay.
And like as part of the grant, we got something around like 1.5 lakh rupees to actualize what we actually gave the proposal of. So the project we did was like a tactile urbanism kind of a project. It was a traveling exhibition.
What exactly mean of that word?
Tactile urbanism.
Yeah.
So these are like urban interventions that are placed in streets. Those are not permanent, that can be taken up. It's like mobile and portable.
Okay.
So it can travel, as the name suggests, it travels. The exhibition travels to different places. Very interesting thing about how we attach this thing to transgenders. So as we know, transgender people are like, we see them at footpaths, at signals, at railway stations, but little do we know, we see them very frequently at tolls and badhais.
Definitely.
The term we are very familiar about. So there's a socio-cultural aspect about this community that's largely unimpacted, largely untapped into.
Oh,
So
okay.
we got into the socio-cultural aspect of the community because talking about economics, so giving them a livelihood, giving them a chai tapri, let's say,
Hmm.
that will not give them the amount of money or amount of finances to sustain their livelihood. They're earning way more than that in terms of badai toli. So why not use this socio-cultural thing as like an uplifting their identity in terms of the socio-cultural strata that we have in our country. So that was the main core principle what we started this project with, wherein we sourced artworks, poetries, dance performances, mehendi arts, fashion
Hmm.
shows, various things. We organized events for them. So at various places in Delhi University Humanities Department, back in I think June 2022, we organized this event wherein
Hmm.
like 150 plus transgender people actually
Wow.
came in. They performed, they sang, they danced, they did
Very
fashion
nice.
show,
Yeah.
mehendi, and all sorts of things. So
Hmm.
there was a big socio-cultural exchange we felt, which is
Definitely.
important to actually bring out the problems that they have amidst the other parts of the society.
Hmm.
And so the traveling exhibition I'm talking about, it's like the panels, the exhibition panels, if you call it, or the setup. Those are made from the sourced artworks, the sourced
Oh,
testimonials. So
okay.
these are big banners upon which the poems written by these people are like printed. Those are displayed at various places. Even in Bangalore, it was done in Rangashankar and MG Road. So yeah, so at core, it's like bringing that socio-cultural exchange with
Hmm.
the common masses and showing them their artistic potential in front of other people.
That's really great. In fact, that vision, the approach you're actually doing for this project is really, really amazing.
Right.
Because we really need people like you who come up with the problem statements like that, who actually bring a lot of mentalities, which is very rigid in our India. And we
Right.
really appreciate you for that.
Right.
But like I'm really curious to see your portfolio, your project,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess my audience also. So I'm going to share the link of Deeptam's handle in LinkedIn as well as portfolio in my description. So please follow, please go and check and appreciate his work.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So coming up next, I really want to know what excites you about interaction design.
Mhm. So I would say it's not a very dramatic transition because working in architecture for like 5 years, 5 years is a long time. So even for an architecture user, like designing everything for the user, we started with a brief. In
True.
design today, we start with a brief.
Right.
We start with a user study, with a user
Hmm.
persona. So in architecture also, the main primary thing is getting a brief for whom you are designing it for. So I feel at the core, making things for the user, researching about the user, and then aligning what your design sensibilities are in terms of the brief, in terms of the constraints that has been given to you. I feel interaction design allows me to do that at a like a very prominent level. Also, at the core, I feel what connects architecture and my this journey, it clubs together is how a person actually interacts with either like physical space or a digital space. So
Hmm.
the journey, I would say, or the transition, or how why I chose why I like about interaction design is because I designed physical spaces for people, right?
Okay.
So right now I'm designing digital spaces for people. So the interaction is still intact, the medium has changed. So that is really exciting to me how that can be transitioned.
Very interesting, actually. Like the way the digital thing is totally converted into the physical, and the physical
Yeah.
is again converted into the digital. It's really amazing. So, any approach you are proud of, and who is actually shaping your overall design thinking?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For this, I would say observation. So, coming to a very like premium institute like a National Institute of Design, I feel like being open to criticism,
Okay.
being open to feedback, even at a end times of your project. Let's say
Hmm.
being open to very critical feedback is what has helped me quite a lot. Being open to collaboration because like as designers one might think like it's a very siloed profession that you have your idea, you need to execute it.
True.
Other people may or may not agree with it, but like being in a college like this where there are so many like or maybe unlike minded people but with very different design sensibilities. So collaboration, I would say, is one core thing that drives all my designs, talking with people, collaborating with people, because I accept that I do not know everything and it's not possible for a person to know all things. So
True.
collaborating with people who knows and being mindful of who knows what is, I think, what like a designer should be very cognizant about in terms of like designing the projects. So I feel that's one of the things that has driven all my projects. And like if you see all my projects, if you look at through my portfolios, most of my projects are like very community driven projects. So I feel that is one domain that I've been very particular about, even during my architecture and during my interaction design career. So projects that deal with communities at very grassroots level is what my approach is for my projects.
Very nice. So as we talk about the approach, there are so many times when a person really need to appreciate the criticism of their own projects,
Right.
right? But there are so many people who don't take it on a positive way. Any opinion on that?
Right. See, I would say being open to criticism should be, I think that should be like a mandate that should be very mandatory for any designer, for any design school. I mean, during the interviews, the first thing you experience during an interview is some sort of rejection, them telling you that this isn't working, or them telling you why are you here, like in my interview. So everybody's interview, we have faced something like that. So after coming out from the interview, we are not many people are very happy or excited about that their interview went really well and everybody liked everything that they showed. So I feel that's kind of the rejection at the very beginning. It's kind of a precursor to what is coming, and you should be open. You should expect that kind of rejection, that not even rejection, that kind of critical thinking or critical judgment on your projects. And I feel you should go into a design career being mindful of that criticism that is to come.
Definitely. Even I believe in that, because if you are a designer, you have to open with all the directions, that what type of idea you are going to evolve into a product or a service in future, and what works or what not. You have to be open with that.
That's right.
So when I'm talking about the products and the services, there are a lot of things happening right now in the trend, like AI aa raha hai, there are ML, there are metaverse and everything. So according to you, what will be the interaction future?
Interaction future, I mean, I feel one very predictive interaction future, like again, talking about artificial intelligence, I feel chat GPT and all that, we have large language models today. The future, I've talked to many professors, many like industry experts about this during interviews and all. So conversational AI, or like the voice user interface, VUI, that is going to be largely what the future is. So if you look at the trend, we had like big, huge, like a room size transistors. Then we had computers, tabletop computers, desktops, laptops, phones, wearables, rings. We have smart rings today. We have small badges here, AI badges. Sorry. So the future is largely conversational. You might not. We have glasses, Meta or like released or and glasses.
Fusion Pro.
Yeah. So the future, which I see, it's like very predictive, is largely conversational. So you wouldn't see a device. Everything will be built in, either through implants, either through some earpods that you're wearing, very small nano micro like wearables that you're wearing. So conversation is, I think, is what is going to increase. And in terms of interaction, I feel that's a very humane interaction that we should look into, how a person converses with an object.
Right.
So one interesting thing that I read in a book, the book was like, it's a very interesting book called Future Files.
Okay.
So in the book it mentions ki till now, whatever interaction we have with objects, let's say your phone, your computer, so the objects are inanimate, right? They don't have a personality. They are an object. They're a machine. So, but in the future, what if objects acquire a personality? So your relationship with objects is definitely going to change, like it does with people. Yeah. So with AI, I feel that's what's going to happen. So more conversations, different tones, different types of conversations. So the conversation design is, I think, what's going to be in the future of interaction design as well.
Quite impressive. I have a very interesting question, although it's repeated again and again on the Instagram, on the YouTube and all. Is AI really going to replace us?
Okay, that's like, a very dismissible like the type of thinking to like talk about when talking about AI. Right? Again, the answer is also very generic, which I like truly root for, that AI is not going to replace our jobs, but people who are very prominent, who are very efficient with the AI will replace our jobs. So that's what's going to happen. So we had computers. So even if you look at, let's say, calculators. So again, when we talk about artificial intelligence, So my take on that is like it's very relative to the times that we're living in, right? So when we talk about calculators, when calculators came up in, let's say, 300, 400 years back, so when the first calculator came up, people thought that this is something like of an artificial intelligence that does mathematics for you, that does large multiplications and summations for you. So that is what artificial intelligence is for them at that point of time. But that point of time is a very important thing to take note of. So let's say after that, computers came in. They could code. People could code. People could talk, make computer do things. So again, that's artificial intelligence for that point of time. So today, what we have, we are doing queries. We are asking for answers. We are putting in vague questions, and we're getting answers. This is AI for us. So yeah, I think in the future, AI would be like a feature. It's not something like a magic. Right now, it's like something like magical. But in the future, it's just another feature that would be available in phones and laptops, and people who are like efficient with that feature will be like the ones excelling in that field.
Very nice. I really want to ask my audience as well. What's your opinion in that? Please comment below, and I definitely want to know your vision. So, like in the future, what I really believe the interaction between the digital, physical, or the human, it's going to mix. Like it's going to change a lot of things. Like right now, we are using metaverse to just having a digital display of someone who is really far from us, not like a video call, but as an avatar. Right now, the technologies are working accordingly. So, according to you, what type of changes in physical interaction will be in the future?
That's a very interesting question. So, like, yeah, I agree with your point that it's going to change very drastically. So we have like a virtual world, we have a physical world, we also have a digital world. So AR, VR, XR, all those things are like very trendy nowadays. So in this like regard, I would give you a very interesting analogy. So let's say when an equestrian, the one who like rides horses in races, so when he does races and all, so how he communicates with the horse is through like a tap with his feet.
True,
Right.
true.
And at that point of time, at that very particular moment in the race or in the performance, whatsoever it is, so the horse, the equipments, and the equestrian, all of them form like a single entity. Even for dancers, even for let's say musicians.
Right.
When you see a musician playing like pure music, guy playing sitar that we've been seeing all this on the internet all this time. So at that point of time, while playing, you see the sitar and the person are like into one entity.
True.
You cannot take them away. So I think what the future holds, I don't see like the physical, the digital, and whatever the XR, AR, VR world separately. I feel everything would be merged together into something that is called singular reality. So again, that's like quoting from a book. There's not an app for that. It's a very interesting book. It quotes about like singular reality, wherein you do not have to switch back to the real world and the physical and the digital world. So everything will be clubbed into one, and that would like orchestrate a beautiful synchronization between all the modalities that we have today.
It's really interesting vision actually. So, as your background, you are an architect and you are in interaction. Have you ever thought of merging both the fields and do some projects related to that?
Oh, definitely. That's one of the ideas, that one of the things that I have to keep myself away from.
Okay.
So in all the projects, I actually try to do this. So I try to do like urban design problems, city-wide problems, solving infrastructure related problems using like architecture and interaction design, because interaction we also do systems design and service design. So it's been very difficult for me to actually keep myself away from making all my projects related to architecture and interaction design. So like one of my projects dealt with the mapping, the cultural mapping of Baswanguri of Bangalore. So again, that dealt with architecture, urban planning, mapping, all sorts of exercises. Again, there were kiosk design, so the design, the physical design, the placement, the contextualization of things. Everything like culminates architecture into interaction design in all my projects. So I feel whatever I've done in my bachelor's, whatever my background is, I've made good use of that background and I'm taking that forward even though I'm doing a different kind of a thing. But I feel like that is nice being specialist in one and taking that forward. So
we really want to see something like that in future for sure. I really appreciate those type of effort who actually have that control or that tendency to make impact on the society where we actually living. And you definitely have that potential for sure. I'm really,
Hopefully,
really
yeah.
looking forward for it. So let's move ahead for some fun part.
Okay.
So we are going to
sure.
play a rapid fire round.
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask few questions and you have to answer very quick. And if you delay by 5 seconds, you have to give me the reason.
Okay, give you the reason for the delay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So your first question is minimal or maximal?
Minimal.
Okay. Favorite tool?
Figma.
Favorite book?
There's not an app for that.
Okay. What's a creative guilt feature? Pleasure. Creative guilt pleasure.
Creative guilt pleasure. I'm not so sure I'm very like understanding of the question. I'm understanding the question right, but I would say scribbling away my free time, if that counts for an answer. So scribbling away on my free time is like what my creative guilt pleasure is.
Okay. Hot coffee or tea in the midnight?
Tea. Tea in the midnight.
Favorite font?
Poppins.
Favorite designing movie?
Favorite designing movie?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Abstract. That's a documentary, but I love abstract.
I really love that
Yeah.
movie. And your future goals?
Future goals. I idealize like future goals. I have to expand on this a little bit. I know it's a rapid fire, but I admire the works of Nandan Nilekani. So working in the public infrastructure domain would be my ultimate goal, and for this country. Yeah.
Any exercise to do for the young designers who really want to be designer to improve the design thinking for them?
Right. I would say you have problems like all of us know there are problems around us. We are very as Indians we are very good at spotting problems. But I feel to gain a habit to actually try to solve those problems even through simple exercises like just ideating what could be done to unclog the drain for like a long period of time. Give 5 solutions to it. That's a simple exercise that might
Very
not take you
interesting.
anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, it might not be implemented, but just being thoughtful of the fact that something could be done with the drainage, I think that kind of a thinking, that kind of a problem solving thinking will take us so far. Yeah.
Right. Really interesting. I hope तुम लोगों को इससे बहुत help मिलेगा. Seriously. So I really want to talk a lot about interaction, a lot about future, a lot about user and all, but
Yeah, there's no never enough time. Yeah.
That's not even like
Yeah.
this conversation can end like 3 4 I can talk about it, but I really want to know what's the designing journey plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would start with a very boring answer that is not exciting at all. So I would like to take a job after my college.
Okay.
I don't have an experience to be very honest right now. I have experience in architecture field. So I would love to take a job after the interaction design, work for a while, post which I'm thinking of, let's say after 5 10 years, I'm thinking of pursuing a master like PhD in design,
right.
either from MIT Media Labs or some place where I can. So till then, I'm taking this time. So it's like 5 to 10 years time. If I want to find a niche that I want to work on.
Really nice.
So yeah, so I want to find my niche. I want to master that. I want to have a doctorate in that. Post which I want to come back to India or start something on my own. And I want to really work in the public infrastructure domain that I told you. So gaining insights, gaining the experience necessary for that is what my goals are. My final aim, the ultimate aim is to work for the country as
well. Wow. I really, really wish that your plans will succeed. Definitely. And
thank you.
All
you
the
so
very
much.
best about it.
Thank you so much.
Before closing our podcast, I really want you to say some good advice to the new young designers to improve their designing skills, and for those as well who are shifting to design from other courses or disciplines.
Okay. I would say for the young designers out there, there's no rush. I would say I see a lot of people rushing through like courses that you have to take a particular course or particular kind of classes to get into design and learn UI UX or learn design in a week, in a month. That's a gimmick. That's not going to happen, right? So I would say take your time, marinate. Marinate is a very interesting word that I have dealt with in my entire life. So you need to marinate with whatever course you're enrolled in. You need to marinate with the idea of design. You need to marinate with the idea of like whatever your dreams are, whatever your interests are. You just cannot skip it or fast forward it to achieve something. So I would say take your time. There's no rush. There's plenty of time. Take your time, marinate into design, marinate into whatever that you're thinking of doing, and enjoy your process there. It's a beautiful journey.
Definitely.
It's a great journey that all we are all being a part of, and yeah, enjoy that journey while you still can. So yeah, that's my advice to you guys. All the best for your future. It's exciting. It's really exciting.
Really, really amazing advice. I hope this advice can really give you a blink of hint or your path, clear your path that where you actually want to be in your future. And really all the best to all the designers who are looking forward to us. And we really believe in you. So believe in yourself as well.
Definitely, sure.
It's a really amazing podcast you did with me. I'm really appreciate your appearance today. So I hope that in future also we are going to meet, we are going to share our experiences with our audience, and we definitely create some impact.
Definitely. It's a pleasure talking to you. And hope there's a second part to this where we can meet again and talk about things. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
या टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट मेरा पॉडकास्ट खत्म करने का बिल्कुल मन नहीं था. बहुत अमेजिंग पॉडकास्ट चल रहा था, बहुत अच्छी बातें निकल के आई, एंड आई रियली विश कि आप लोगों को भी बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला होगा. आखिर मुझसे या दीप्तम से कोई क्वेश्चन मिस हो गया हो तो प्लीज कमेंट डाउन बिलो, एंड मैं फॉर श्योर नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में उसे कवर करने की कोशिश करूंगा. एंड इफ यू रियली वांट अमेजिंग पॉडकास्ट लाइक दिस तो हिट द सब्सक्राइब बटन, द बेल आइकन एंड शेयर करो भाई. We'll meet soon. Bye bye.